Welcome to Music is a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean, and Music is a Day Job is brought to you by the Concert app. The Concert app is the artist accelerator. It takes artists from opener to headliner to on tour and gives fans the best experience in independent live music. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me at this because I hear this every day online. One of the things I hate hearing people don't mess with me in my city, so I gotta go to another city. Oh my God, if that isn't one of the worst sayings I've ever heard, ever, ever. Here's the logic of this. Now, all that says to me when I hear an artist tell me that is you ain't working hard enough. That's all it says to me. Now, I know some people probably try to compare this statement to like what happens to artists, like the jealousy and envy in their city or whatever, like that. They'll be like the jealousy and envy. Well, here's the thing: a lot of these cities have over 100,000 people. So unless you live in a real small town, they have over 100,000. I doubt you know them. I doubt you know them all. So when you're looking at 100,000 or more people, and all you really need in your city to start making $1,000 a night in my formula is 150 people out of 100,000, then you're just in the wrong circles. That's the reality of this, because just numbers, straight statistics doesn't make sense. A lot of times when people say that people don't mess with them in a city, it's because the people you hang with don't mess with you. The people in that cult or group of people don't mess with you. Now, I'll give you a story. In my situation, in like I went to Denver from the Springs. And when I went to Denver, I'm not, I don't know any of the dudes in the business up there. Now, it was very cliquish. It was very cliquish, and I know everyone can attest to this. These cities will get very cliquish and they'll promote who they want to promote. So then they take the people who are so-called gatekeepers, the radio, the club promoters, the DJs, and stuff like that. These are the gatekeepers that people had that, like, if you didn't mess with them, you didn't get on. In my situation, of course, I chose to put my money where my mouth is, and I went and got my own venues. And I paid for them myself. I didn't come from money. I didn't have money like that. I just was like, hey, I got to bet on myself because otherwise I got to go work a job. And I'm not working a job. And so at that point, I'm betting on myself and then saying, hey, this last bit of money I gotta win. So I'm in a space where, yes, I could have sat there and been like, they don't mess with me. Because, yes, nobody who was in the original the rap people that were popping or whatever, none of them messed with me. However, the consumer is a different person. And thanks to the music gods, the consumer is more than likely very different than even who you think is your consumer. As we know, the majority of, even in the rap world, the majority of people are, a lot of the consumers are females. A lot of consumers are not of the same race that people that rap are mostly. So, but then there's then in tons of different types of music. A lot of times it's another race that ends up taking it over to pop and everything like that. And then, of course, it's like it takes a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So then you can't discount these people. So then when I say someone who says this is kind of lazy, it's because I know you probably haven't gone and let people hear your music that don't fit in your criteria of who you think you should be around. So see, you'll probably go take it to everybody that hangs around everybody that hangs around everybody that you hang around. And if they're not taking it and they're not loving it and they're not supporting it and they're not doing this, then you naturally gonna say, I need to go somewhere else. But the reality is all you need to go down is down the street and you can find somebody that'll support your music. And if you're pushing hard enough and you actually are kind of dope, then you'll see them start putting money on that. And so I found out like my fan base was totally different than the fan base that I was, originally going for. Because yes, you originally you think like with me, I was heavy in rap. So then I'm sitting there thinking, hey, all the homies want to hear this. all the dudes that are like me want to hear this. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who dress like me, act like me. So let's go to the clubs that are like that, the clubs I like, the club, and all those people that are popular in those groups. I need to get my music to them, and then they need to get. And it was totally not that. By the time I started popping, it was like a lot of my fan base were all like were mostly like women and men, and men who weren't of African American culture, like ethnicity. It was a lot of uh, Latino and Caucasian males. It was a lot of all types of females. So like every race of females, and it was majority female than male. So then it was like, while I had an idea of who I thought it was, it ended up being people from all different types of places that weren't in the spaces I was going to. So like I'll give you a for instance. I don't know who would be familiar with Colorado, but Denver is the capital of Colorado. So as you said, as you got like capitals in every state, they have like a melting pot of everything. Then you have like, I don't know if your state would have like a country town or anything like that, but we have kind of more suburban, like I guess you could kind of say country towns, which are like Greeley and Grand Junction, and these places loved us. So it was kind of like I would have never even gone out to these places ever in my life. And then now I'm getting to the point where it's like my music is being listened to in these areas because I'm doing the work. I'm pushing it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm seeing who all will try to listen to my music. I always tell people a story like I went on a car rally, and everyone loved the music. And like the car rallies are usually people who are like can afford super expensive cars and live in super expensive areas. And just by chance, our car rally that we went on was in Utah. And so if you ever would think a rapper who raps like the stuff I rap about pop over there, and then they want a song, for instance, made for them about their rally, and then that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like you really don't know. So then, more than likely, all these people, like if 1,000 people like you, 1,000,000 people probably like you. You just got to start finding them. And they're probably next to you just like everyone else is next to you. Like you can find somebody that listens to Lil Wayne, or you can find somebody that listens to um, uh, Reba McEntire, or you can find somebody that listens to Garth Brooks or Guns N' Roses or Kenny G. We all know these people. So what makes your music so crazy different that these same people, none of them will listen to it? That's what you have to say in your mind, is that you know people that listen to a vast range of music. And if you don't know that, then you need to go out and start finding those people and being around those people so you can start understanding, because you're in the music business now. If you want your music to win, you have to figure out the consumer. And that's the main important point. I know no one wants to do it, but that's the goal of this, is to find your consumer. So then you need to get out there and kind of be like, okay, well, maybe these people don't like my music. And it could be for whatever reason. Maybe it's because they don't like you as a person or something like that, and something you did or anything like that. And then that's those people are tied to a personal reason why they don't mess with you. You still have a whole world out there. And more than likely, in any state, you have enough people to go to another city and figure it out. You don't have to go to a whole nother state and everything like that. You can even probably just be in your city and go to another side of the city. Like, that's how crazy this is. You go to another side of the city. Inside, even when I used to like when I'd be in Denver, I remember when I first started, I look at it as so small, like, because I kind of seen it as in it was only those people could support rap. So then, and when you look at it in the scope of things, it was like maybe like 3 or 4 clubs out of like 20 to 50 clubs. It was like 3 or 4 of them that I was thinking was everything. And It's a whole world, even in just downtown, that are totally different people that have totally different vibes that could love everything that you're doing. So, and even if you're talking like however you're talking, they could find the connection to it. However, maybe they just like the beats. Maybe they like what you're saying. Maybe they, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they just like you. But you have to give it that chance before you say, man, they don't mess with me and where I'm from. They don't mess with me in my city. No, they probably could. You just have to find those people that want to listen to that. And it takes a lot of work and looking and trying to talk to people and putting yourselves in probably uncomfortable positions because you're not comfortable being in some of those venues. You know what I'm saying? Like it's tons of artists that you could, you know what I'm saying, that you could break down their fan base and be like, I didn't think that would be the fan base. You know what I'm saying? So definitely go look, and like that's why I hate when artists say that, because it just tells me like you're not really looking. You're not trying to find fans. You're not trying to find new people. You're basically just saying, hey, because the people you around don't mess with you, then you got to go find them somewhere else. But see, the reality of this is if it isn't personal reason why they don't mess with you, it's something else that is in the music that actually they're not agreeing with. And those exact same type of people that are replicated in other cities won't mess with you either, because they're catching on to something. Like I would always say, I know a rapper out here that he did gangster rap, and like he just didn't fit. Like whether his life was like that or not, I don't know the truth of his life, but he just didn't look it. He didn't give you the feel of it. And he thought because they didn't mess with him that like, you know, and maybe his life was real. Like some of the things I guess he said were possibly real, and he just didn't give the vibe correct, I guess. And like if you go somewhere else, they're going to catch on to it too and feel the same way. And it's like whatever they're catching on to, or whatever they don't like about what you're doing. But then he had some hard beats, you know what I'm saying? And then he caught himself to where in some like college towns he was popping because the beats was hitting. You know what I'm saying? Like the beats was hitting, and it's like, you know, and that's where he gained his fan base. So but yeah, definitely give yourself a shot more in the areas you're in, because it's actually less expensive and it's easier to control because you're there all the time versus having to fly somewhere to constantly feed your fan base. You can feed them right in front of you. You just got to go find them and do the job, do the work to get there. So once again, this has been Music is a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean. This is brought to you by the Concert app. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Get everyone to subscribe so we can get this popping. And one thing, as I always say, we're in tons of cities. Concert is in tons of cities, tons of states. Uh, if we're in your state, if you go and get onto the Concert app, it's on all platforms. Get onto the Concert app, and when you get on, if you see your state, we're either already having shows there, or which that means you need to get you a slot so you can start getting your shows popping, or if we are doing a Q2, which is a conference, make sure you come to the conference so you can learn more about making music as a day job, and we start building in your area. If your state or city isn't on there, then you need to start adding people, getting your homies, getting everybody who's in music that you know to start adding the app, because then we see the demand and we can get out there. Anyone in those venues, whether in a place we already are in or a place we're coming to or a place we need to come to, let us know, because then that makes it easier for us to start getting out there and building the shows. So once again, this has been Music as a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean, and this is brought to you by the Concert app.